Welcome, guys, to episode 7. Today's a special day because today we're working on the cage. That's right, the cage on this Turbo R race build that I'm doing. If you haven't already been seeing all the rest of the episodes, be sure you follow along. Head back over to my page and start watching from episode 1 because you can see where we've gotten so far on this thing. And you're wondering how I got there? All the episodes will show you. And for those of you guys that have been following along, thank you so much. I appreciate it. All the new subscribers, welcome. Today, we're going to be working on the cage. As you can see, it's kind of laid out. We'll dive right into it right after this. Okay, so... like I said, we're working on the cage today, and this is what we would call a redneck measuring system. Going up to the rafter, it's the only thing I can do. I'm down here by myself in the shop, and I don't have extra hands to kind of help me figure this out, so I gotta do what I can, whatever works, right? So what I did is basically from the bottom tube here, measured up to find out just how high I want it. I will put a picture of what it looks like right there. So yeah, check it out. I mean, you can see it sits super low. The whole cage, the whole car itself is sitting extremely low. I'm really hoping, I wish I had a tape measure to measure, but from this to what this looks like, this you can see it's kind of tall right there, and this one is basically down probably about 6-8 inches. So yeah, this is kind of the layout that I'm going to do. I think I'm really liking the way that this comes in and then goes down right there. I wasn't planning on making a one-piece whole roll cage, simply because I haven't used my bender in quite a while, and I don't know how good I'm going to be at it. It's been a minute, so it's a lot of math involved and a lot of things, and tube's expensive, so I don't want to mess up on a bunch of stuff and have to redo it all. But it is what it is, right? What I originally planned on doing was basically taking this right here, going straight with a tube, and then cutting it off like right here, and then grabbing a tube here to go straight there, and then obviously there's going to be a tube right down here, right past my head, for that lateral strength, and that might be okay. I just don't know. And as you can see, the front of the cage, obviously it's not sitting how it would be. It would be like probably like that right there, straight, but you know, you do what you can with that thing. So I think what's gonna happen next is I'm gonna dig my bender out, start bending some tube. I'm kind of I'm kind of scared right now. I hate to say that I'm scared, but I know I could do it. It's just the matter of if I mess up, that's $100 tube. I mess up, and I don't want to keep messing up tubes at $100 a pop. So I got to do this thing once, and that's it. So let me dig my stuff out, make some final measurements, and get into bending this tube. Okay, so I dug out my bender. This is a Pro Tools 105 hydraulic bender. I know it's not like a JD2 or JD squared bender or anything like that, but this works great. I don't seem to have too many problems with it. What I have here is a piece of 1 3/4 120 wall DOM. I know. Why aren't you using chromoly? Well, I'm sorry. Baller on a budget over here. I can't afford chromoly. But DOM is just as good, just not as light. Sorry if there's a lot of noise going on in the background. I have my fan on full blast, and I also have what powers my shop, which is a generator. Good old Harbor Freight generator, because the power in this place, it won't handle anything. So everything that I do in here has to be run off a generator. So I'm sorry for the background noise. It's like 100 degrees in here, so I'm gonna be sweating like crazy. Anyways, back to this. 1 3/4 120 wall DOM. I'm going to use that for all the main hoops. So for all this stuff, it's going to be all 120 wall. Any of the uprights, main supports, everything's going to be 120 wall. The rest of the stuff will be 095 to help keep the weight a little bit low. It's not going to be dramatically different, but I want the main structure to be 120 wall and everything else to be 095. So we will put this piece of tube in there that I just cut up to size. Put you on a little time lapse. Hopefully won't struggle too bad on this thing. Alright, so what we're trying to achieve is a 40-degree bend on the main hoop, and I'm at 40 right now, but with these you have to basically what they call spring back, called spring back. So you have to go above 40. I think this has about a 3-degree spring back, so you do 43 to achieve 40. You know what I'm saying? So when it actually comes back, it'll actually be 40 degrees. Should be good. Alright, so we got our 40-degree bend there. Now we need a 35-degree bend here on the backside. So that's 33 right there. Like, let's just go 35. Okay. So that should give us our 33-degree bend right there. Let's try to get this thing out of here without causing a ruckus. Moment of truth right here. So I gotta be honest, it doesn't look right. Let's set you up right here. Watch me be upset or really happy. I don't know. Well, that's good. My fancy measuring tape. Back out. Way too high. But I made this tube too long on purpose. So if I cut off a few inches off of here, this tube will drop down. And it should give me what I want. The last thing I wanted to do was basically cut the tube to perfect length and then be upset that I cut it too short or the bend was too far. I'm kind of thinking I bent this one just a hair too far. Should have went to 30 degrees. Let's take a couple inches off the back of this and then drop it down so we can achieve our 45 inches. Right now we are Well, the tube is, I mean, obviously it's just placed there, but I balanced it very gently. And unfortunately, it's not right. My redneck tape measure situation wasn't exactly spot on. This is the terrible part about working by yourself is you gotta do all these things and make measurements, and I don't know, it's tough. And I'm kind of bummed right now because, like I said, I didn't want to waste tube and sorry, my hands are black and I didn't want to touch my face. Waste tubes because it's expensive. And although like it is a good bend and a good shape and stuff, I ended up cutting 2 inches out, and as you can see right here, the angle that comes down here does not meet this thing properly. Woo! That was scary. Anyways, so when it comes down, it kind of comes down too short. Either this angle right here wasn't right, on the very back side wasn't right. So I am scratching this tube right here. I don't like the way it sits. I didn't really like the degree of this bend here. It's a 40-degree bend. I really like the way this bend looks with the chassis. This is a 35-degree bend. That was a 45-degree bend, or 44. This one looks a lot better. Once again, don't mind my Mexican engineering right here. It works, right? So I went ahead and cut a new tube. I made it extra short. This time I'm only going to do, like I said, so it's going to go up to the seat and then go straight across from there. Just keep it that way. But we're going to go ahead and do this one at 35 degrees and pray. Get 35, baby. This 120 wall stuff is a little bit harder to bend, so it struggles a bit. But we're almost there. And I'm also running out of air. Come on, we're at 30, 32, 33, 34. Boom. 35 degrees. As we don't get that much spring back, let's hope it works. That pin comes out. Remind me, that pin is right there. Alright, so I'm going to pull this out of here, put it up to there, and hope and pray it works. Got it off the bender. We're going to put it up to my lovely sling. I'm going to set you guys right here. Let's see how it is. It's not set right. I get it. I know. But let's see if we're somewhat close. I'm going to grab my tape measure wherever I put it. Measurement from here. Wow. I wish I could tack it in place. Wish I could tack it in place. You know what I'm going to do? Some electrical tape. Electrical tape right down there. Hey, it's not dumb if it works, right? All I was doing is just holding it in place to make sure that I don't get hit in the head. But I think it might be too low. We might have to do a little bit more of a bend on it. I'm going to sit in the car. I'm going to see what you guys think. put you pretty much eye level. Let's see. Quick test. I have to go back in there and put a little bit more, a little bend in it. Because this is, I did want a low car, but man. Me trying to get in and out of this thing's gonna be terrible. I'm not exactly the smallest guy.
A lot of boring math later.
Yep, I'm gonna put 5 more degrees in it. Be right back. Okay, so I got the new tube in there. Put 5 more degree bend in it. Got it on my cool sling. If I put this at virtually 0, that's what it would look like right there. Alright, 0. We're at 44 underneath and 46 up top, which is spot on. Exactly what I wanted to be. 44 from the bottom, 46 up top. Because you gotta think about your helmet's not gonna be at the bottom. You still have a little more space up top here with the roof line. But that is crazy. So if you take away the slouchingness of it, that right there, actually, let's see if we can. Things are going crazy over here. But I'm gonna go back with some more electrical tape. You're getting crazy. You're getting crazy. Electrical tape is in. Put this thing roughly 0. That's what the cage is going to look like right there. That's pretty rough. I like it. Now I got to do the same thing on the other tube. Wish me luck. Alright, so I got this new guy. And that, folks, is how you do it. Just kidding. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just messing around. The car's coming together, and I like it. Sorry, I'm sure that was probably really in your face, and I apologize. Let me back up a little bit. That's much better. Too close for comfort, I get it. But yeah, so that's essentially, these are the main tubes, and although I messed up on one, which absolutely sucks, I'm glad I was able to dial it in and not just deal with it, which is what I usually do, to be completely honest. I'm like, I'll make it work. So I'm not doing that with this car. I'm doing everything like proper, which is what I did with that car. Wasn't able to make it happen, but we're gonna build a badass car. I'm excited. Main tubes are in. Now I just need to figure out what I'm gonna do to design the rest of the car down here. I gotta do some math. I'll be back. Let's take a second to remember my strap. It broke. I finally I tugged on it just a little bit too hard, and I mean, it's rotted, it's old, and they just completely snapped. This tube fell on the ground, made all kinds of noise, and it was terrible. But I upgraded to something a little bit more sturdy. So that is zeroed out right there. That's perfectly level. Everything's there. My electrician's welding job is working pretty good. Now let's take a second to sit back in it again to show you the difference between what it is now and what it was before. So before you saw it, it was basically right at my headline. So my angle measure guy ran out of battery, so now I don't even know what's zero anymore. But it should be pretty close. It looks, visually it looks close. Car now, as you can see, there's plenty of headroom now. Versus when I first did that cage, it was like right here. But this is basically what it's going to be like. Cage will come right here, and it's going to be pretty cool. I'm tired. I'm really, really tired. All right, man. So I'm sorry about the whole roundabout weird. It took me so long to get to this point, and it should have been done extremely fast, and I get that. But like I said, I'm not following plans. I'm not like, it's not a kit. I can't just put these together and make it easy. It's something that like, I have to make sure it's right, make sure the angle is correct, the way I want it, how I see the whole build actually coming together. So it's a lot different than just putting something together and making so good of a weld that even an electrician can do it. This is my electrician's weld. Sorry to some of my buddies that are electricians, but that's still funny. Let's see. So I gotta decide on if I want it to continue out farther out this way, or I want to just make it straight. I'll show you on my old car what I'm talking about. So see how this one, the stock cage is here, and then it bows out a little bit, then goes straight down there. Now do the same thing on this car. But I think I already made this as wide as that other section is. I think this is 55 inches wide versus like 40, which is the very front. So I think I'm just going to keep this like that, go straight with it, and then go in. If that makes sense. Does that make sense? Basically to make my life easier. I just gotta figure out how I'm gonna do all these tubes. How it's gonna work. I really need to figure out what I'm doing with this whole business right here. I don't know if I want to keep this guy and weld to that. Like they sell a plate. I'll show you on this car. What I did on this one was there's a plate that goes in there that bolts in place, and I just welded a tube going down to here to there. Because I still had a lot of the stock bars and stuff like that. But this one, I haven't taken off this stuff. I know this needs to come off. All this needs to be taken off. But I haven't decided if I want to just chop it right there and make the cage come in. See that angle like that? Like, do I want to go in with it? Or do I want to keep it perfectly straight and then come down to right here or somewhere right here? Visually, I think it would look cool to kind of have the cage do one of these bits and go wider in the front and then come sleek back together in the back, which would be kind of cool. But I don't know. So many decisions to make. I don't even know how I want to design this. It's just because I'm just being lazy. 100% I'm being lazy. I don't want to grind this off and cut that off and do all that. But also, if I start cutting away at this and let's say I take the Sawzall to it, cut it off, start grinding away at it, it essentially weakens that point. And this already is pretty thin metal. So, is it a risk worth taking because this is part of the cage, the main part of the cage? Or do I mean, I could always plate it, right? The weld to the plate. I'll have to think about it, but I think I'm going to do that on another episode. Appreciate you guys sticking around for this very long-winded video just to make these tubes. Sorry. But I didn't get touch base, but I did get these seat sliders in. They're all ready to go. Sorry, I totally forgot to mention that. Seats are in there. They're nice and rock solid tight. I ended up using my old sliders and cutting it off and then welding it right to a tube here. Looks pretty good, I think. It works. No slider though, so whoever's driving my car better be tall. Just kidding, nobody's gonna drive my car. But that's it for now. I'm gonna play with some stuff, figure out what I'm gonna do. A lot of stuff that you don't care about. So I'm gonna leave it here. Wait for episode 8, which will be tomorrow. Tomorrow is Monday. I'm busy tomorrow. I don't know. I have lots of stuff going on. But the video after this is going to be worth waiting for. We're going somewhere. I'm excited. And if you've been watching my videos, you know exactly where we're going. I appreciate you guys tuning in. I will see you on the next one.